Hi guys, welcome back to another video. It's officially 1 month as a project manager. Literally, who would believe I would actually say that? Like a whole 1 month, and I'm still standing, I'm surviving, and I have not chickened out yet. Yes, it's 1 month since I started my new role as a project manager. So today I just want to talk to you about a few things, my 1 month old experience, and just try to tell you what I've been going through, what I've been experienced. Look at me saying going through as if I've actually been going through hell. Lol, that's not it. But yeah, so that's what I'll be talking to you about in this video. So if you're new, my name is Esther. I'm a content creator, a project manager, also a pharmacist, and I share content regarding my career, productivity, lifestyle, adulting, everything joined together. Yeah, that's what I share here. So if you're new, welcome to the family. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel and also switch your notification bell so you can always get notified whenever I upload a new video. So guys, I've actually got some pointers here, so I know that I have a guide to what I'm going to talk about, so I'm not just rambling on and on. So I might be looking at my phone here just to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do it in terms of my first impressions, the key skills and tools I've been using, challenges I have faced and how I've overcome them, and I'll be talking about the biggest takeaways I have learned from my 1 month experience. So that's what I'll be talking about today. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So guys, now let's talk about my first impression. So in terms of my first impression, my initial reaction about actually starting this role was, I would say it was sort of indifference before my first day. And I think on my first day, it just did not even feel real. You know, when you feel like you're still in a dream and it's not real. Am I actually officially transitioning? Do I actually have a role that I actually love? Like, I'm in tech now. That was a bit of my first impression. And then when I went in, I think on the first day, of course, getting ready and all those things like that, which you would have seen from my first day as a project manager vlog. If you haven't seen it, it's somewhere here. Click on it and go watch it. It was really, really interesting, and a lot of things happened that day. So if you haven't watched it, you can stop this video and go and watch that. Then you can come back, you can understand the whole gist around it. So yeah, and when I was walking towards the office, it started becoming real. I saw the building all filled up with glass, and I was like, oh my god, this is me now in tech. Like what we see in movies or we see on other people's YouTube videos going to office. Like, I'm also going to work in a nice office space, all of that. I'm going to be working from home and all those things. So yeah, my first impression was really exciting on the first day. And went in, it was like a business induction day where they told us about everything about the business, how the company works, what the company is all about, etc. And then we did like a office tour about the whole office, and they took me to the heights and it's like, oh, Esther is the new product/project manager. She's going to be part of the product team, and we are getting your laptop ready, so by today you should actually get your laptop. And I'm like, what? I'm getting a laptop? And that was where the excitement kicked in. Like, wow, I'm getting a work laptop and I'm so excited. So even when we were doing the business induction, I was so active. I was just enjoying every process of it, because sometimes they ask questions and I can actually use my pharmacy knowledge to actually answer, like, oh, I understand why this is the case, and everything like that. So it just feels, I just felt like I was on top of the world, because I was doing the induction with the customer service team that also started. So as being like a project manager, and there was another guy that was like a quality assurance guy that just started as well doing the induction. So when the training person is talking about, oh yeah, we're doing this and this, but she's like, oh, it doesn't apply to you, Esther, as the project manager, or Usman, for example, as the QA. And it just makes me feel like, oh my god, literally I have an official title. So literally my initial reaction was literally as I expected. Everybody was lovely, everybody was nice. Like, you just meet people with smiles. Like, the office cup of tea, the kitchen where you have the fruits and all the stuff. Like, I'm like, oh my god. So my initial first impression was really, really good in terms of the my reaction. In terms of team dynamics, like I mentioned, everybody was just friendly, everybody was welcoming, there was no friction between anybody. Like, everybody was willing to answer your questions. No one felt like you were disturbing them if you had so many questions to ask. They were all open and ready to answer my question. Like, and I was like, oh my god, this is actually good. I feel like I'm happy that I'm going to be part of this team. I did not get to meet my initial team, my manager, until like 3 p.m. that day. And when I met him, he came with my laptop and gave me a laptop back and a mouse pad. And I'm like, it's looking real. And he sort of told me the project I'll be working on. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm going to be working on the project. Like, I was so excited. It just felt so real. And my manager was very, very friendly. I could not see that friction between manager and someone working on that. Like, it was just like we are in the same level. The only difference is that we take different salaries and we have access to making certain decisions and not making certain decisions. But I did not feel that friction coming from healthcare. So the team dynamics, I really, really loved it. My expectation, to be fair, I was thinking about what the role is going to involve. Of course, at least from the trainings I had done and the past experiences I've had, I was looking forward, and with the training, I was looking forward that, okay, this is the way I think being a project manager work. Of course, you have a meeting to talk about the business case, and then as a project manager, you go and put together your project charter and put up a plan, make sure that it aligns with the stakeholders, and then you build up your team and start working with the team and start executing the projects and making sure you're keeping things on track, and in terms of resources, and also in terms of actually meeting the deadline, and also producing a work that meets the standard of what the business stakeholders were needing. Like, I literally felt that was literally what you need to do. That was my expectation. But in terms of reality, guys, every company works different, and the way each company actually project manage things is different from the other. And when you do the training and you do certification, you most likely learn like the generic way of project management, but sometimes might have to actually learn the company's way of actually doing project management. So my expectation about everything is the same everywhere you go. For example, if you are a community pharmacist, most likely you do technically the same thing at every local pharmacy that you go to, but it's different in corporate world, especially in tech. So even if everybody is a software developer, but the way they do it in each companies can be different, so you might have to learn what the company you're in particularly is. So that was my reality after Good. So I knew that after I started, I knew that, okay, there's a lot of work and a lot of learning that I need to work on, and I have to do it on a fast-paced situation so that I'm not lagging behind and I'm able to deliver on my task and duties on time, and it's not affecting my performance from the role. So those are my expectations versus reality. In terms of immediate challenges that I had, it's about actually finding my foot. Like, okay, what am I doing? For example, you're working on this project. Oh yeah, that's exciting, working on this project, but where do I start from? Have they already had like a business case? Have they had a discovery moment? Have they had, okay, so where am I going to come in? So that was the immediate challenge that I had, where I did not even know where to come in to start working on projects, because the company is still building a new delivery framework. So not all the people involved in the business actually works in the new or agrees well with the new framework yet. So it's a bit of trying to find my footing and trying to wiggle my way around. Okay, asking people like, okay, they've asked me to put a project brief. I can put that together, but where do I get certain information to be able to put those documentation together, or having to put a project plan together, which from what I've learned, the project plan seems different, but when I look at the company structure and the company way of doing a project plan is completely different as well. And they use Excel rather than the other softwares like Monday.com or Team Gantt, things that the sources that make things easier in terms of AI and stuff like that. So I had to actually build up even though I know how to use Excel, but the basic kind of knowledge of Excel. So I had to actually build up my knowledge and actually learn how to use Excel in a more detailed way. So those were my immediate challenges for the role. Now let's move on to the key skills and tools that I've actually used in the past 1 month for this role. Guys, in terms of the essential skills, I think time management is important, problem solving, and communication skills. Those three should be like your bread and butter. You need to know how to manage time, because sometimes, especially when you're working with developers, they like to work at their own pace. So sometimes they might not like you when you're trying to put timeline in place for them to actually get things done. When you want to be on their neck, they might not like you. So time management is key. And because I'm in a new company, that was something I struggled a little bit, because I was still trying to communicate and build a rapport with the like with my developers, like the engineers, to actually build a rapport for them to trust me and want to work with me. In this past 1 month, I have not succeeded successfully, if that's a word, but I'm getting there. At least I could see some improvement. Communication, you need to learn how to communicate. Literally, in pharmacy, in healthcare, when you communicate, you literally have to be very detailed. When I mean detailed, you need to write your documentation to the T. So it can be lots and lots of essays, all those things to the T. Okay. However, in corporate world, you need to be straight to the point and concise. Be concise, straight to the point. You don't need to, because they don't have the time to read in the essays. That time that they're reading essays, they could write 1 or 2 codes or something to build the project you're working on. You don't want to waste their time. So communication is key, but communication in the right way. But make sure that you are communicating. It's not that you actually think in your head that, oh, I think they're supposed to know something, because that was something I learned. I forgot to actually just check to think if one of my developers actually knew that we're having, for example, a presentation on a meeting. I assumed, which I should not. I should have just checked. I should never assume that these people know what they're supposed to do. Sometimes they don't. So I should have checked and everything like that. And it became like, oh, why do I not know about this meeting until today? And I'm like, obviously you got an email, but obviously did not check their emails. So it's something, my job is project management. So I need to make sure that people are on top of it, communicating things around, and making sure it is straight to the point, concise, and still fits the purpose of why I'm doing those documentations. So communication is very, very important. Problem solving, guys, that's one good thing I really love that was a transferable skill from me being a pharmacist. Problem solving is something that is really needed in project management, because you will have situations where the communication is not communicating. It is not communicating at all. You're not communicating, they are not communicating, and you're just having back and forth conversations. So like, just understand, straight to the point, and that can be quite frustrating. So problem solving in terms of that situations where sometimes there could be disagreements in how we want to work, and some people might not agree with the way you want to work and they want to work separately. So you need to be able to learn how to problem solve that, and making sure that you're doing it in a right and professional way, that actually doing it in best practice purposes, something that is the best practice way of solving the situation without making each party or both of each party feeling the friction of, I'm not saying sense in this, does that make sense? But you're professional in a professional way. So problem solving is key, which I'm still getting there as well, because the way you problem solve in pharmacy is not the same way you problem solving in a corporate world. So you have to actually build that and learn that as well, and that is something I'm currently learning in my first month as a project manager. I think in terms of technical tools, the project management softwares are very key. My company actually uses Jira, and I'm so grateful to God. Should I say to God? I'm just so grateful in general that when I did my Safe Skilled Agile, I actually had experience using Jira, and that was what made me even understand what the whole thing looks like, how it worked, and everything like that. So when I got in, it was easy for me to actually implement the use of Jira and actually using it to do some of my projects, and actually getting certain information that I need from it. Of course, because I only did the part of my training was about 4 weeks, so it wasn't that continuous as I would have loved. It's just like instant means of using it. So one of the things I do in my spare time is actually watch YouTube videos on how to use Jira, and I practice by myself as well. The other thing is communication tools. That's another technical tools I use, and we use Teams for ourselves. And guys, now I understand when I see those memes on social media that talk about when they hear those team sound when they're on holiday, they're happy to put, I am out of office, nobody should communicate with me, and everything like that. And they can easily delete their team's chat when they're going on holiday, because that thing cannot, literally, it doesn't stop pinging. You just hearing bum, 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 bum. That's what you'll be hearing. It's just multiple messages, and if you're not careful, just try your best not to be in every channel as possible. It's not necessary for you to be in every channel. It's in as much as it's not related to your project. Please don't get involved. And also another thing I'm learning is that you don't need to have multiple messaging system between your teams. That can cause a lot of confusion, and I'm still learning, like I said, to sort of make things, narrow things down and make my life much more easier. And data and tracking tools, we mainly use Excel to put Gantt charts together, and on the Jira we use Kanban to actually see what is pending to be done, what is doing, what they are doing, to just sort of track what the developers are doing so far and things like that. So those data and tracking tools are really helpful. And like I mentioned, Excel, I had to also try and build up my knowledge on the advanced or even intermediate to advanced level, how much things you can get out of Excel, because the company actually prefers the use of Excel. Most of our documentation is on Excel rather than a website or software tool. So that is one of the things we've been using, and in that 1 month I think a lot of learning has been needed and has been done so far to actually build up the speed, build up my knowledge, and meet up the speed of the company, because it's a fast-paced environment. You can't really be slow. Okay, in terms of challenges, I think I mentioned time management. I already mentioned that, but I'm going to talk about team collaboration. That's another challenge that I'm facing. Ooh. Guys, working in a pharmacy, like you as the pharmacist, you have the dispenser, the pharmacy technician, the ATOs. Everybody knows their roles and responsibility, so you don't have to bother much, except if they come and ask you some clinical questions and everything like that. But you just sort of face your thing and do your thing. You expect everybody to know what they are doing and they should manage themselves, except if there's an issue or friction between your team. But here, team collaboration is key, and it's not just within your PMO team, which is like project management teams, but also with other people that you're working with. It could be the business analyst, the product owner, the SROs, the sponsors, the developers, the user UX designer. You really need to build that team collaboration. Also, depending on the company, it actually depends, because you might have a bit of a friction from just starting in the company. So what I would advise is that don't let that put you off, because should I say I cried on my official first month? It's just because I just felt like I'm trying to build this rapport, I'm trying to collaborate with this team, I'm trying to do my job, I'm trying to help them make their job easier, and all I'm getting is pushbacks, misunderstanding. I'm communicating A, I'm getting B back, and I'm like, don't you get it? But obviously I can't be angry. But you know, when you're just frustrated that you're doing your job but it's not just getting through, and I just cried, and I just felt like But funny enough, when I cried and I felt that way, I felt much more relief. It's not the type of tears that made me feel like, oh my god, do I need to rethink my decision that I actually want to become, like, am I in tech and I'm crying? You know, but it's just a bit of a frustration that I'm so excited about this role. I worked so hard to get into this role. I know what I'm doing. I've learned this thing, and I'm ready to put in the work to even learn more and build myself, and I'm receiving pushbacks. So it's a matter of actually coming to terms to that. Those pushbacks are normal. You might experience it in your first few weeks. You've just started. You're just 4 weeks old. 4 weeks old. You are not like been there for 6 months and you still don't know what you're doing. If you're there for 6 months still don't know what you're doing, then that's a problem. But like, you're 4 weeks old and you're still, even though you're on probation, I understand that. Also the fact that I was on probation, so I'm a bit worried that, oh my god, would this affect my probation and everything like that? But devil is a liar. God got me this job. That's nothing for me to be fearful about. But after that, yes, and speaking to my colleague, I felt really relaxed, and I built up my confidence. And the next day like this, I just went on the drawing board, re-strategized, and then I was able to build that rapport slowly. I was actually, by the end of Friday, I was actually getting there. I feel like I'm getting there because it was more positive rather than more negative. So that is one thing in terms of team collaboration. Learning curves, guys, like a steep learning curve, because in clinical, maybe because I've done clinical in my life, this is like a new area of specialization. You know, the way corporate works is different from the way like being in clinical work, so it's a lot of learning. So it's you have to even learn the way of communicating, simple communication. You have to even learn the way of communication within the corporate world. You have to even learn how to write emails. I'm telling you, it's even like how to write official and professional emails. Literally, that's something that I had to learn. Sometimes how to even leadership training, you know, business governance, how to actually understand and mitigate situations among teams and actually build good rapport with your team, so you're actually doing the right thing, you're working together for to actually align with the business goals and requirements. All those things, these are learning curves, and also learning all those tools. So there's a lot of learning to do, but I'm not afraid to do it. I expected this much, and it's something that I started from day one, and I literally learn every day during my spare time, and I do it especially during my spare time, or even when I feel like I've actually done all my tasks for the day. So, and I don't have anything to do, for example, in the afternoon, or I don't have anything to do mainly in the morning, until I have my daily stand-ups in the afternoon, where I get updates before I then know what paperwork I need to put together. So I make sure that I actually self-learning those times rather than just sitting around and not doing anything. So that's something I do. The other thing is handling pressure. That is another challenge I felt like. I don't even think I was pressured by the company. I feel like I'm the one that puts the pressure on myself, and it was quite hard for me to handle that pressure personally. So you know, because I just feel like it's my fault. It's 4 weeks. I need to have been able to deliver A, B, C, D, or I need to have been able to deliver 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get things like that. So I sort of put unnecessary pressure on myself. I had to learn that I need to give myself grace and understand that I'm still relatively new, and the way the company works is different from any other companies I've worked for or any other experience I've had. To the point, like the littlest thing, which is documentation. Every company is different. It's not what company A uses that company B will use. So it's something that I had to learn to give myself grace, and that was the way. That is the way I'm actually overcoming the pressure that might come to me, especially when I don't know something. When they ask me to do something, I feel like I don't know, and I feel like I have to ask questions to get clarity. Sometimes I'm like, oh, do I have to show that I'm this stupid? Like, I don't want to show that I'm stupid. I'm not stupid. I told them in the interview that I could do this. Why am I struggling? But I needed to understand that the company is new. I'm just getting into it, and it's a learning curve, and it's a learning process. So guys, now let's move on to the biggest takeaway. In terms of personal growth, guys, I have grown so much. In terms of my emotional intelligence, I have grown so much. The way I look at people, I don't look at people the same way again. Like, sometimes when I'm like, oh, you're supposed to, sometimes, you know, when patients comes and they're like, oh, you're supposed to just take the label on the box. It only takes 2 minutes. And we in pharmacy like, it's not that. It doesn't take 2 minutes. I have to think about it. I have to clinically check. I have to make sure things are okay. Just to make sure that I don't give you the wrong thing. I have to check the expiry date, put my signature on it, put it in the back, staple it. It takes more than 2 minutes. You know, that sort of thing. But here, personal growth, my way of seeing people is so different, because you don't know, because everybody's brought up in a different way. So the way we deal with life or deal with situations is different. So you have to approach things by trying to understand the person that you're dealing with, and if you're trying to get the good results at the end of it, you need to understand that. So my emotional intelligence has grown. Learning style, guys, I've understood so much. Like, I've learned so much. I'm like, wow, knowledge is literally not a waste. Like, it's really not a waste. Even though I feel like, oh, maybe leaving else, I don't have to keep doing exams, but this corporate world, you have to keep doing. You might have to keep building your knowledge, building certifications, because you don't want to stay in one position anyways forever. So you have to build your knowledge so that you are good and valuable enough to be promoted, or valuable enough to apply for another role with a better pay, better income, or to give you that career growth that you needed in terms of your career ambition. So that is something I am more open to learn. I am more open to learn. I don't take any opportunity to learn or any opportunity to get trained for granted. That is in terms of personal growth. In terms of leadership, I'm someone that used to avoid leadership a lot. I literally avoid it so much. Even though when I'm being given roles in church to like lead, I'm always like, you know, I always ask things. So, oh, please, guys, thank you. You know, in a more nicer way, where even though I don't even get the job done, I've literally had to learn that sometimes you need to learn how to put your foot down if you want things to be done, but you need to be professional when you're dealing with leadership. And that's actually helped me to actually learn how to manage people better. And in terms of project management as a whole, I'm actually better than what I was on the first day I stepped a foot into that company. So yeah, lessons learned. Please communicate short and concise. Don't waste people's time. If the meeting is not necessary, you don't really need to book a meeting in. You can always send an email instead of it. If you don't understand something, ask. No one is going to see you as stupid. You can ask. They're willing to answer, and everyone is happy to help. Other things, do not put too much pressure on yourself. Literally, you're relatively new in it, and there's opportunity for growth. So don't feel bad for actually getting things wrong. So those are the things I've learned. And my advice I'll give to you if you are moving into a new role, especially in the new industry where you've not done it before, is that be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself, because I know you're transitioning and there's this pressure that we naturally put on ourselves that, oh my God, I need to be, because I said on my CV that I could do this, do this, do this. I said this on my interview that I could do this, do this. So I need to show them. But there's nothing wrong in you showing them. Yes, you can. But everybody's process of showing things actually takes time. It is when you are actually 6 months into it and you still haven't showed them anything, then you have to question yourself. But if you're just 4 weeks in, it is just, it's literally takes time, and you're still even trying to settle into the business. So 1 month is literally not enough to even settle, because a business is a whole organization. You need to know everything that concerns that business. So sometimes some people are still even learning after 6 months of being in the business. It's just that the way they're learning there is much more better. They understand majority of it, and they're just still learning 1 or 2 things about the business. Not to talk of a business like mine that we're actually starting to implement a new feature, a new delivery framework right from scratch. So obviously it's going to be some difficulties and hiccups in the way, and a lot of learning process through the place. So please definitely be kind to yourself. And other thing is that be open to learn. If you don't know something, what with like common sense would be to actually go and look into it and learn it. You don't have to wait somebody to tell you that you're supposed to go and learn something. You need to self-reflect yourself, self-realize, and actually be ready to go and learn what you're supposed to learn. So that is something I would advise. About few things that I would advise you as a newcomer into a new role, or you transitioning into a new role. So guys, that was my 1 month experience as a project manager. I hope you've been able to learn 1 or 2 things from my experience, and you've been able to actually see, maybe I hope I've been able to paint the picture of what my 1 month experience is. This is just a realistic experience, just to let you know that sometimes social media can glorify things, but when reality sets in, you can be caught off guard. But if you are sort of prepared, and when things come to you, you won't be shocked. You just, you know, maneuver things much more better and much more properly. So guys, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope you like this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and also share with your friends as well. Be nice. And if you haven't followed me on Instagram, please do. That's where I share most of like my immediate situations, and I send more tips and everything on there. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in my next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.